Assalamu alaikum. And it's an immense pleasure for me to be asked by Mr. Ikram Sehgal, Chairman, Co-Chairman Pathfinder Group, to give an overview of this event I've been a small part of since 2018. So Ikram Sehgal calls me and he says, Huma, do this. You've been to Davos thrice. I go, no, Ikram Sehgal Saab, I've been to Davos 4 times. And yes, that's the story, and which I think gives me certain edge to stand here in front of you and speak about it. So yes, I've been to Davos in 2018, 2019, 22, 23, and every time I didn't go, I regretted it later after I saw what had happened there. So just to give you a small understanding of what Davos is and how Ikram Sehgal Saab has been a lone fighter. He's carried this flag really high in Davos as a private initiative through his own efforts and commitment and love for this country. So I'm going to quote what he said when this was launched. He said, Pakistan should be projected somehow, and Pavilion is an experiment in that direction. Nationals from various countries and heads of sub-companies are coming to see what Pakistan offers to the world. These are his words, gentlemen, and he's carried it, he's carried this torch so far, and we hope and pray that this continues. The debut for Pakistan Pavilion happened in January 2018 and is set up with the financial assistance of Pakistan Pathfinder Group and Martin Dow Group in association with the Swiss Asian Chamber of Commerce. Roping in Swiss Asian Chamber of Commerce, for those of you who understand the dynamics, is not an easy task. But there's something else that I want to talk to you here. And maybe Ikram Sehgal Saab will not be happy about it, but I'll take the liberty of my association with him to go ahead and say a few things. He would not talk to at least a lot of people in public. Martin Dow supported this initiative, and I was also in one of the events when Martin Dow supported it. It went on beautifully, but when the leadership passed on to the next generation, when suddenly Javed Akai Saab passed away, the support was withdrawn. And most people thought that this will collapse. And it was actually Mr. Ikram Sehgal digging deep into his personal pockets to take it forward, because it is not easy. So those of you who've been there and those of you who will choose to be with us in our next journey to Davos will realize that it's not easy to pull an event there. Be it security, be it the financial impact of it, be it also herding these so many people together and bringing them to one point. So whether it is the breakfast or the pavilion, it is one Herculean effort to get it done. And he's been doing it year after year after year, not for any personal gain whatsoever. He's doing quite well actually here. He's a man who employs 15,000 people across this country. This is not something he has to do, something he does for Pakistan. And then, of course, because it is such a huge enterprise to carry forward, we, amongst others, with the Ikram Sehgal Saab, tried to engage somebody else to become a part of this. And I know at least of one entity, I'm not going to take the name, who came, committed, said yes, everything, and then backed out. And again, Ikram Sehgal Saab carried on with this alone, on his own, for Pakistan. I think the man needs a hand here. Thank you. Thank you so much. So over these years, notable figures have graced the Pakistan breakfast, and it's a houseful. The Pakistan breakfast, because I've been a part of it 4 times, it's an absolute houseful. And it happens at 7:30 in the morning. And I for one commute for 1.5 hours to get there. So I leave my hotel for something like 5 in the morning to be there at 7:30. And many other people do it. And they do it with pleasure, because it's such an honor to be a part of that Pakistan breakfast. And if I take out list out the names, it's going to take me the entire morning. But I tell you, I think every single prime minister has been there. Bilawal Bhutto has been there. Sherry Rahman has been there. Sania Nishtar, Dr. Ishrat Iqbal, Huma Bakai, I'd like to say that too. You name it. Our caretaker Prime Minister Kakar Saab, the Minister of Chief Minister of Balochistan. I have a whole list of people who've graced the pavilion, talked about issues, and have got huge traction. The press conference that Bilawal Bhutto made at a very critical time at Davos was seen as a relaunch of Mr. Bilawal Bhutto. Of course, he spoke really well, but Pakistan Pavilion provided him the forum to do that. And then, of course, I've also seen Ikram Sehgal Saab and his team struggling with the government of Pakistan being both arrogant, unresponsive, and non-cooperative. Because by even just coming to the event, it's like they're doing us a favor. And then they want the prize seats, prize locations, and everything, all the works. But more importantly, the pity is that I'm going to quote a former Prime Minister, Mr. Shahid Khaqan Abbasi, who was at the event, was asked a very simple question. Mr. Shahid Khaqan Abbasi was asked as to why doesn't the government do something? It's such a huge initiative. These are people sitting there. And you can't imagine the kind of foreign media that is attracted to the breakfast. And you know what Shahid Khaqan Abbasi says? And I've become fond of the man since he's left PMLN because he's talking so much more sense. But he used to talk sense back then also. He said, aren't you glad government hasn't taken it up? It's doing wonderfully well in the private sector. But doing it is not easy. Doing it has not been easy. Like I said, it's a private initiative. It plays a crucial role in putting forward Pakistan's point of view and its soft image at the global forum. So one more thing, and I've forgotten my text, I'm talking from my heart now. So there's this street, which is the happening street of Davos, where it's a very expensive hotel. We also have our pavilion and subsequently the breakfast. The entire street, at least 40% of it is under India. India represents it, India controls it, India serves us starter tea. In that, I'm going to be very India-centric in so many things, but this is where we need to be India-centric. And Indian private sector is supported. I've been to their lounges and I've spoken to people. They are tooth and nail supported by the Indian government to project India. So you see their textile, you see their spices, you see their computer outputs, you name it. And we have one pavilion, they at least have 15, 20. And the most high-profile businessmen are there. Don't you think it's time Pakistan should actually realize what are the new fronts where we need to be? We have left these posts unmanned. Be it the intellectual post, be it the projection of Pakistan for economic turnaround, growth, progress, whatever that you'd like to call it. And these are the new fronts where wars are being fought. And with it, of course, comes the whole construct of image building. If there is one exercise which is done every year for Pakistan at Davos, where the decision makers and the movers of the shakers of the world descend, and for 4 days they decide what is going to be the agenda of the world for the next year. They're also lovingly or not so lovingly called the fat cats of the world. But they sit there and decide. The terms that you hear, the terms that you're going to hear in 2025 about geopolitics, about economics, about climate, about progress, about growth, about turning around the world, about bringing peace to the world will be the terms that will be coined right here at Davos. So the term we constantly heard about, I constantly used that term in my conversations, was the term polycrisis. This is a term that came into existence 2 years ago. It is rooted in World Economic Forum. And there are various other such terms. And then you come face to face with people you've only met on the net or heard to on the net. They carry out events, they carry out talks, and you're free to go to them. So I always thought I could do so much more, and I can't. And then even in the Pakistan Pavilion itself, there are discussions, there are talks, and there are conversations which put forward the image of Pakistan. I have come across people and they say, "You are from Pakistan?" And I said, "Yes, I'm very much from Pakistan." And this, I was at a women empowerment discussion there. Then also I think how Pakistan Pavilion and Davos itself sets the path. The discussion on Euro-Asia happened last year at Davos. The whole concept of Euro-Asia was launched by Mr. Kram Sehgal, and he realized how important it was. What was the SCO that just happened? It is a Euro-Asian organization bringing out the narrative of the South to counter the overwhelming toxic narrative of the West that talks about the Ukraine-Russian war but does not talk about what is happening in the Middle East. Ladies and gentlemen, this is what Davos is all about. This is what Pakistan Pavilion and the breakfast is all about. It allows people to counter the very negative image Pakistan usually carries, and they see it firsthand. So first of all, I think we should all thank Kram Sehgal for this, but more importantly, we should come together to help the man. For how long will he do it on his own? Thank you so much. Moderating the event, so I'm going to invite Ms. Nadra Panchwani to do a formal introduction of the organization and many other things. Ms. Nadra Panchwani, over to you.
Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Distinguished guests, ladies and gentlemen, Assalamu alaikum and Khush Amadid. We are delighted to welcome all our worthy guests to this event, which is a collaboration between the Karachi Council on Foreign Relations and the Pathfinders Group. Dr. Huma Sahiba has already given us an overview of what Davos is about and the role of Pathfinders regarding the Pakistan Pavilion there, so I'll be just adding on a bit. As you know, the World Economic Forum was established in 1971 by the famous German professor Klaus Schwab at the University of Geneva. Initially, it was named the European Management Forum, and after 16 years, in 1987, it was renamed as the World Economic Forum. Klaus Schwab held the first assembly of his organization in Davos, Switzerland, in the winter of 1971, and gathered some 450 Western European executives with the objective of introducing them to the American business models and practices. With time, this forum gained traction and has now evolved into an influential think tank and lobbying platform for addressing a wide range of diverse topics. Its declared mission is to improve the state of the world by engaging leaders in business, politics, academics, and various fields of society to shape a global, regional, and business agendas. The World Economic Forum is basically a foundation funded by its leading member business corporations. Global enterprises with an annual turnover of more than $5 billion are the key members, and they obviously set the agenda for discussion and decisions. They are of the view that globalization, free trade, technological innovation, and sustainability must be the guiding principles for business and the progress of society. The Great Reset and the global redesign are two significant concepts which originated here. These reflect the forum's vision of a world that requires large-scale systemic changes in response to all forms of crisis, whether financial, geopolitical, environmental, or health-related. Connected to these two concepts is the idea of stakeholder capitalism, which accords priority to the interests of all the stakeholders instead of just the shareholders. It states that along with the interests of the owners and the investors, those of the employees, communities, and the environment must be considered in equal measures. Every year during this summit, the Global Competitiveness Report is published. It ranks countries on the basis of various economic indicators such as infrastructure, state of human resource, and capacity for innovation. This report influences the investment decisions of countries and the multinational corporations. Similarly, the Global Risks Report published by this forum highlights emerging threats to global stability like cybersecurity issues, pandemics, and environmental degradation. This helps vigilant and proactive governments to exercise foresight and plan for international cooperation. The concept of the fourth industrial revolution was also popularized at the World Economic Forum. This describes the ongoing fusion of digital, physical, and biological technologies. The key technologies driving the fourth industrial revolution are artificial intelligence, Internet of Things, robotics, blockchain, biotechnology, quantum physics, and the 5G networks. All of these are causing significant disruptions to existing industries and business models. The speed and the scale of change coming our way needs global collaboration and equitable distribution. Despite its significant international influence, the World Economic Forum is not without its detractors and critics. They find the elitist and exclusive nature of this show a sharp contrast from the realities of the global population. The forum has been accused of promoting the interests of the global elite rather than addressing the needs of the marginalized communities. Here, participants discuss problems like inequality, poverty, and climate change in the luxurious and expensive location of the alpine town of Davos, which is generally inaccessible to those who are most affected by these issues. The limited and rather selective impact of the deliberations and recommendations of this forum on governments and corporations is another valid criticism. For example, in recent years, participants have been talking endlessly about climate change and its devastating impact on our planet. Yet, the same corporations continue with operations which cause huge environmental degradation. Still, with all its flaws, the World Economic Forum continues to be an important and influential networking platform. Heads of states, CEOs of multinationals, thought leaders, and activists all converge upon Davos annually to discuss pressing global challenges. Almost all countries from all continents attend this summit. The reasons are promoting investment, shaping global economic policy, engaging in diplomacy, and fostering public-private partnerships. It is true that the leading economies of the world dominate the show at Davos, but the developing countries also make a lot of effort for visibility at this platform. As just mentioned, our neighbor India sends high-level delegations to Davos, led by its prime ministers and corporate leaders. They spend millions of dollars every year on putting together an elaborate marketing and PR campaign, and this foresight has helped them to pitch India as a hub for technology, manufacturing, and innovation. Pakistani heads of state and leaders have been attending the Davos summit, but unfortunately, Pakistani private sector's presence at the summit has remained dismal. Karachi Council on Foreign Relations takes great pride in the fact that its patron-in-chief and former chairman, Mr. Ikram Saigal, initiated the concept of a Pakistan Pavilion at Davos more than 20 years ago. He has been keeping the Pakistani flag flying high there. And to my mind, this is visionary and strategic philanthropy, which in the long run can be so much more empowering and effective than giving out free meals and handouts. It can showcase Pakistan and her many potentials to the world. It can neutralize all the negativity that is regularly propagated about us, and it can build our soft image. Saigal Saab, KCFR pays tribute to your patriotism and to your strategic foresight for understanding this need. For the past 20 years, many prominent Pakistani personalities have been attending the Pathfinders Pakistan Pavilion at Davos. Among them were leaders like General Pervez Musharraf, Mia Muhammad Nawaz Sharif, Imran Khan, Shahid Khaqan Abbasi, Bilawal Bhutto Zardari, and many others. This Pakistani space at Davos has presented the best of Pakistan to this international assembly and has been a catalyst for fostering business linkages, dialogue, and collaboration on key economic, social, and geopolitical issues facing our region. I'm sure Saigal Saab will tell us more about his show at Davos and his plans for the upcoming summit of 2025. I wish to thank all of you for attending our event and spending your Sunday morning with us. Ladies and gentlemen, thank you very much.
But I would also like to point out the fact that it was the Pathfinder group that took KCFR to Davos. And I think it is the only think tank in Pakistan who has that distinction. And it has been consistently represented there. I and Sadeed Malik have represented KCFR there on the behalf of at Davos. I've represented KCFR, Sadeed Malik Saab has represented KCFR, and it's been an absolute honor and pleasure because our think tanks are very inward looking. Our think tanks are largely, with all due respect, funded by the establishment, only putting forward one perspective. The diversity that is needed is being provided by KCFR, and it is being lubricated and facilitated by Pathfinder Group. So we remain grateful for that. And after what I've said and what Nadra Pajwani said, let's see what has happened there. We have a video to present of the pavilion and the breakfast. Please, the video.
Pakistan is an extremely investor-friendly country now. We have taken measures. We have introduced investor-friendly environment into Pakistan.
Thank you, Ikram, and let me also thank all the organizers, the Global Agenda and the Pathfinder Group, Mr. Ikram Saigal.
The way we look at Pakistan going forward is a moderate, vibrant Islamic country located at this very important part of the world.
Ikram Saigal, ladies and gentlemen, it's indeed a pleasure for me to be here for the second time. Profitability in Pakistan is very high. I know about 600 to 700 companies in Pakistan, each one of them making a profit of between 20 and 50%, some even making more than 50%.
I would like to thank our dear friend and member Ikram Saigal for hosting this traditional breakfast. Pakistan for us is a country with which we have worked for over 2 decades now.
Thank you, Ikram, for arranging once again a really eminent gathering of the Davos attendees.
Let me express my gratitude to Ikram Saigal, my friend, for arranging this breakfast. This is the third time I am addressing a gathering here at such a breakfast get-together. So thank you very much, Ikram.
Mr. Ikram Saigal, I am really grateful to our host who has provided me this opportunity. There are a lot of people that discuss about Pakistan, but they forget about this, that Pakistan is a very successful state.
I'd like to give that over to you, Imran, for you to start. I don't think I have much to add to Sushan's other than to say my childhood hero is here.
Ikram, thank you very much. Because this is the first time I've been here. I've heard a lot about the World Economic Forum, and this is my first opportunity to meet such varied people from different backgrounds. Pakistan is also located next to India, one of the biggest emerging markets, biggest markets in the world, and China. So it is ideally located from that point of view. Ikram, thank you very much. And ladies and gentlemen, it's a pleasure to speak to you about this extremely exciting time in Pakistan. The level of political awareness in Pakistan is unprecedented. Ikram, thank you very much. for making me do this hat trick. 50% of the population in Pakistan is under the age of 25. So if we invest in them, this is our biggest resource.
Pakistan is very strategically located. It can be a bridgehead for trade, commerce, for transportation, for energy sources.
Ikram, thank you for inviting me. Ikram is a great long-term friend. Ikram's a very good helicopter pilot, and he flew helicopters in the Army. So Ikram comes to visit, and I said, well, I'll surprise him. And so we picked him up at DFW Airport. I put him right into the helicopter in the front seat. I said, okay, good luck. And after 40 years, Ikram took off and flew very well. I was terribly impressed. He has not lost his touch at all with being a good helicopter pilot.
And I think there is a tremendous opportunity over here for the government to focus on the youth in terms of further job creation, in terms of education, both primary, secondary, but then also in terms of higher education. And I think Prime Minister Nawaz Sharif's government has done a great job in sort of advancing that.
Let me, on behalf of my delegation and on my own behalf, express my gratitude to the Pathfinder Group and Mr. Ikram Sehgal for hosting this important event. Pakistan is home to the 6th largest population in the world with 180 million people. It is also the 26th largest economy by purchasing power parity.
We are moving towards the goal of better recovery in the years ahead. This is a great event for us, great event for Pakistan, and certainly, at the World Economic Forum, it's considered a marquee event because of what the General has done.
I'm really grateful, and I'd also like to thank Mr. Ikram Sehgal and his entire team and his family for giving me this opportunity to come here to Davos and especially this breakfast. Pakistan is a very dynamic country. It can work under adverse conditions. It has a vibrant youth and a very capable youth, and has, I think, all what is required for progress. And I think Pakistan has done enough in this fight against terrorism. We have achieved a lot, and I think we have contributed a lot towards global peace. And our neighborhood is becoming safe. We hope that things would improve in Afghanistan and the situation on our western borders would improve. I would like to say that it has been a teamwork and an unflinching political and military leadership resolve. And I salute the martyrs of Pakistan who laid their life for the motherland and also for global peace. I also take a lot of pride that I have commanded the most battle-hardened army of the world as I look at it, and salute my countrymen for their support. And it has been, you can say, a whole-of-nation approach to fight this menace of terrorism.
Prime Minister Abbasi is the true definition of a public servant of Pakistan. He has spent his entire career serving Pakistan.
It's a privilege to be here, and I'm grateful to the Pathfinder Group and Mr. Ikram Sehgal for getting us all together. Pakistan continues to solve its problems. The world also appreciates that it's a large country, it's a large market.
It's an amazing relationship, an amazing partnership that we have. And Ikram, I think you've been driving this story for the World Economic Forum in Pakistan, I understand, over 25 years.
I think there is a wonderful story that is happening in the province that probably gets the least press, and I think there's a wonderful story to be told over there, not just from a historical, geographical perspective, not just CPEC, but I think there is a wonderful transformational movement going there, and the Chief Minister is very much part of it, so thank you for being here.
Thank you once again, Sehgal Sahab, for giving me the opportunity and to be among the crowd over here. We have to keep that smile for Pakistan, and we are quite optimistic. There's a lot of opportunity for our business community.
First of all, let me thank the Prime Minister for being here for the fourth time, thrice in the opposition, and now in his own right as Prime Minister.
I'd like to give special thanks to the Pathfinder Group for hosting this event.
There's beautiful marine blue water, pink sands of the sort that people spend thousands of dollars to go to European resorts and resorts in the Caribbean, and we have it all.
First of all, I would like to thank Mr. Ikram Sehgal. He is instrumental in getting me here. This country has more potential than any other country.
I think the idea is Pakistan is at a crossroads right now. It's at a precipice. It is a country that is screaming for investment, infrastructure, energy.
It is a pleasure to be here at Davos, and particularly at this Pathfinder breakfast. I've had the opportunity to visit once before. Pakistan has the potential to be a beacon of growth, not only for its own citizens, but to unlock untapped potential, economic potential in our region.
We got 70% of natural gas of Pakistan, which is fast depleting. We are currently importing gas, but the potential is there. There are more reserves of light gas in there, which can be utilized.
The minister has been tireless in her efforts, from going from forum to forum, from going to country, to raise not just awareness, but real funds for Pakistan.
Pay a small debt of gratitude to the Sehgal Group family and the Pathfinder Group, friends of Pathfinder. We still have the largest man-made irrigation system in the world intact, but that's in the plains of the Punjab. There's hope wherever there's darkness. That is human nature. We innovate, we put our shoulders to the wheel, and we cannot give up.
The Pakistan Pavilion is going to be celebrating this year its 20th anniversary at the World Economic Forum.
It's been a long time that we have been hosts of Ikram and his Pathfinder group, and we have always enjoyed his hospitality very much.
Ikram, before you have been a partner of the World Economic Forum for over 30 years. So you've been coming here for over 30 years. I'm sure you've seen a lot of change, but really thank you so much for your engagement over the years. And just to say that the specific thing that you're doing here, it's called Asan Mobile Account. It's been tremendously successful. We're very happy that you're part of that initiative and you're helping us make a difference in Pakistan and in the world.
It's a privilege to host you, because it's a privilege to host not just you, but members of your government at a forum like this, so that you can tell the Pakistan story effectively, so that people understand why we remain a great place to invest.
Ikram Sahab has been very generous to me in personal capacity, has always introduced me to different forums, and I've always benefited from his advices and suggestions. So thank you so much, sir. Pakistan is a great country. Why? It has a population of 240 million people at its backyard. The whole of Central Asia lies there, which is landlocked. And of course, it is looking to have connectivity through Pakistan.
We're very proud to have VRG and the Pathfinder Group part of this great coalition, and I would like to commend you on reaching 10 million bank accounts open through the Azan mobile scheme. We've participated and collaborated quite a bit.
I said Pakistan is because the Pakistan Army is. The Pakistan Army is because the Chief of Army Staff is. The Chief of Army Staff, I may like him, I may dislike him. I may like his views, I may dislike his views. But he is the Chief of Army Staff. We cannot afford to say or do anything that denigrates his position. We have the finest working manpower in the world. We need to actually get the best out of them. And the best out of them is the way that we can, share our experiences, our comforts, our wealth, in whatever way you want. I think one of the ways is that you've traveled here a couple of times with me. Some of these people have never traveled abroad. And they come to Switzerland, to Davos. For them it's highlight. And let me tell you what my turnover rate is among them. 0. None of them leave, right? And they've been offered jobs twice or 3 times the price, right? And they have refused. They said, we looked after here. And I think that is the legacy I want to pass on to my son.
What happens at Davos, at the Pakistan breakfast and at the Pakistan Pavilion? The diversity of political parties that are represented, where the pavilion and the breakfast is about Pakistan. It's neither about a party nor about a personality. It's just about Pakistan. And that is why I would urge all of you to become our multipliers. All of you to talk to people about it and tell them this is not what Davos is usually known for. This is not about the elite sitting and making decisions about the world. It is about getting our foot into that on that table, into that room, to put forward Pakistan's point of view and to sell Pakistan, to pitch Pakistan, and to bring investment to Pakistan. And when I talk about investment, I'm very happy to announce that we are now collaborating with Sindh government. The Sindh Investment Board is supporting us, and they are also represented here today at this event. And I have the proud privilege of inviting Mr. Khizr Pervez, CEO, Sindh Enterprise Development Fund, Investment Department, Government of Sindh. He's a very qualified person, which is wonderful to know. He holds an engineering degree in computer science from Canfield University, UK, and an MBA from University of Nottingham. And this young gentleman, I'd like to think, is the new face of Pakistan. It's people like him that we need to represent Pakistan. I'll request Ms. Khizr to take the podium and say a few words.
Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Thank you. Good morning, esteemed guests. Ikram Sehgal Sahab, Sandra Panjwani, Ms. Huma Bakai, Assalamu alaikum. An excellent video, a very inspiring video, motivated me to come to Davos this year, inshallah. I've been planning for the last 2 years, lekin ab inshallah ta'ala koshish karke aaunga. Well, it's a pleasure to address you all today. We are grateful for the opportunity extended to the investment department to participate in this significant event, which allows us to express our perspectives and insights. As the primary entity representing the Sindh government in matters of investment, we are committed to fostering a conducive environment for both local and foreign investors. This event, organized by the Pathfinder Group in collaboration with KCRFR, serves as an exceptional platform for promoting investment opportunities in the Sindh region. Our partnership with KCFR has consistently highlighted and advocated for Sindh as a viable investment destination on both national and international stages. The promotional videos, which I just mentioned, presented have inspired us and reinforced our enthusiasm to engage actively in this gathering, showcasing the potential the Sindh holds for investors. Further, it is evident that the Pathfinder Group has successfully collaborated with various international partners to elevate Pakistan's profile on a global investment landscape. This initiative not only enhances the visibility of our region, but also encourages foreign investment, which is crucial for our economic development. We look forward for contributing to the discussions and exploring new avenues for collaboration that will benefit not just Sindh, its stakeholders and Pakistan. So Sindh Investment Department has quite a few sub-departments under its umbrella. And you'll be happy to know that we support SMEs, we establish zones, we have authorities to support zones. Just like me, there are other, thank Ms. Bakai for praising us, but we have other candidates who are younger than me, which the Sindh government has inducted in the Sindh government. We have our CEO Caesar, Mr. Faisal Mujib. We have other departments in Education City and Special Economic Zone Management Company. So the idea of the Sindh government is to have this younger mindset in the bureaucracy, so that we can go out and we can pitch to people and tell people how Pakistan and Sindh is an investment-friendly platform. From the videos which I just saw, everybody spoke out that we have the highly skilled workforce, we have this, we have that, but it's all about showcasing, like Ms. Bakai just mentioned. And this is, the credit goes to Mr. Ikram Sehgal, who have been doing it for the last 2011 तो मैंने देखा था जब मुशर्रफ या 2004 जब मुशर्रफ साहब से, it's a long time. So credit goes to you, sir. अल्लाह करे आप इसी तरह पाकिस्तान को हाईलाइट और शो कर सके, not just in Davos, but all around the world. ये मेरी आपसे रिक्वेस्ट होगी कि सिर्फ Davos में नहीं, और भी बहुत सी जगह हैं. We have other platforms in Europe, in Asia, wherever we can go, we'll follow you. Investment Department has collaborated with you, and we will be collaborating, and we'll be partnering with you to showcase Sindh, which will eventually result in the betterment of Pakistan. I thank you all, and I look forward to be part of Davos, inshallah, in the coming year. Thank you very much.
Now I'm going to invite Mr. Farhad Ali. He's the chairman of the board and executive managing director of Polygal AG Pakistan, a fully owned subsidiary of Polygal AG Switzerland, lead columnist at Daily Business Recorder, former president Overseas Investors Chambers of Commerce and Industry, and founding president and member of the board of the Swiss Business Council of Pakistan. He's here.
Thank you for the introduction. Chairperson Nadra Panchwani, ladies and gentlemen. I have a few words to contribute to the World Economic Forum at Davos before I move on to speak on the subject assigned to me. Already much has been said about it, but I'll just add few words. I had the opportunity of participating in the World Economic Forum event at Davos multiple times through the common platform of Swiss Business Council and Swiss Asian Chamber of Commerce of Switzerland. Attending sessions on global issues blended with casuals but meaningful meetings with prominent global leaders had always been a profound experience, which otherwise at such a level and in such a short time was not possible. The signature breakfast organized by the Pathfinder Group at Davos is viewed by many of us as Pakistan branding and identification at Davos, and perhaps the only one. This brave group, at its own resources, has been carrying the Pakistan flag at Davos for over 2 decades. I must say with disappointment that the excellent platform provided by the Pathfinder Group at Davos for global outreach is not being fully leveraged by the government of Pakistan nor by the business groups of the country. Government can gain by improving the country's perception, and the business groups can use this platform to go global like many emerging markets like ours have accomplished through World Economic Forum at Davos. It is a forum like Davos which provides a rare opportunity to build country perception, enhance Pakistan visibility and influence in global discussion, allowing the country to showcase its economic potential and strategic importance by networking with potential investors, thought leaders and policy makers, which can lead to beneficial collaborations. Moving on to the subject of Switzerland and Pakistan business opportunities, I would like to showcase the business model the two countries are pursuing to develop trade and investment among them. Perhaps it will be of interest to Tariq Akram, who has experience in this field. Under this business model, the entire business chain of trade and investment between the two countries is managed by the private sector, which includes the role of business development, facilitation, and implementation, overriding all bureaucratic hurdles and engagement in both countries. The process works faster and efficient with tangible results on ground in a very short period of time. This initiative is governed under an agreement between the Swiss Business Council and Swiss Global Enterprise with defined responsibility of the two partners. Swiss Global Enterprise, headquartered in Zurich, is an entity similar to our Trade Development Authority of Pakistan, with the difference that it is in the private sector, and this makes all the difference. Swiss Global Enterprise supports 5,500 businesses, mostly small and medium enterprises in Switzerland and around 130 other countries with a business development partner like Swiss Business Council of Pakistan. Under the agreement, the role of Swiss Global Enterprises to evaluate the needs of its member companies who are interested in global outreach for their businesses. It links such companies with the Swiss Business Council under well-defined mandate worked out between Swiss Business Council and Swiss Global Enterprises. Whereas the Swiss Business Council role in Pakistan is to mobilize and manage the footprint of assigned Swiss companies in Pakistan through joint venture in investment, trade, technology transfer with the partnering companies in Pakistan. Swiss Global Enterprises and Swiss Business Council has managed the footprint of multiple Swiss companies in Pakistan under the said arrangement in the last 3 years. There is a constant effort by Swiss Business Council to showcase the positivity of Pakistan in Switzerland. For the purpose, one of the series of roadshow was organized by Swiss Business Council last month at Zurich, Geneva and Bern, attended by Swiss companies keen to develop business and investment alliances in Pakistan. The engagement of the private sector in the entire business chain of trade and investment and the withdrawal of the Swiss government from anything to do with the business came around on account of paradigm shift in the countries of the West when they came to the conclusion that the government has no business to be in business in any form whatsoever. Taking the case of Switzerland, earlier the export of trade of Switzerland was facilitated and promoted by the Economic Affairs Division of the Swiss government. It was subsequently found that the fast-changing business dynamics, the government would not be able to keep pace with it. In 2008, this mandate was delegated to Swiss Global Enterprises, created by the Swiss government in the private sector. In its earlier years, it was financially supported by the Swiss government. Swiss Global Enterprises is now on its own in its finance, management, and politics. Today, Switzerland Global Enterprises is the official Swiss organization for export and investment promotion, working as a private consulting and platform organization commissioned by the Confederation and the cantons of Switzerland with around 200 employees over 20 countries and more than 3,000 partners worldwide. On this promising note, I complete my presentation within the allocated time allocated to me by Mr. Kram Sehgal.
And now I have the pleasure of inviting our very own Mr. Tariq Ikram. He's a very prominent member of the board and helps us with finance, has been associated with Trade and Development Association, and is a man of integrity. So over to you.
Actually, I've forced myself into this time because I was so motivated. Ikram, honestly, I didn't know the width and depth of the effort that you've made. Hats off to you. I really got really motivated, and therefore the few minutes that I've requested for. Ladies and gentlemen, the reason why I'm here is that Ikram had also said that, ideas for making it a greater event for Pakistan, etc. And it just thought to me कि अगर आपने इस चीज़ को और भी ज़्यादा strengthen करना है तो align it more strongly with the national needs today and for medium term. And what is our national need? 80% of our money goes into debt servicing. We all know that. So what could be a greater need than to make sure that we are debt, if not free, minimized? In that context, I firmly feel that the IMF second review, which I've read word by word, unfortunately, whilst it gives excellent remedies for what we need to do to be able to develop socio-economically, it itself is forecasting our debt in current year of 122 billion to 157 billion. It is forecasting in the schedule, you read it yourself, that our debt will continue to increase. We as a nation may have to suffer that for one reason or the other, but the export figure that they have used to calculate our debt at 147 has only 38 billion. Whereas with the little bit of knowledge that I have, I had the fortune of being in Pakistan, heading the export drive for 8 years. So trust me, I know what I'm saying. Our export potential is 80 to 100 billion dollars. 80 to 100 billion dollars. We are today at about 25, 29, 30 billion. So here we have the opportunity. And therefore, at this event, if we were able to showcase exactly, tangibly, how and in what sectors the investment can come in to be able to boost our exports, that would be extremely helpful. Investment is something that is really important and essential. However, will we bring in 5 billion, 7 billion, 10 billion per annum? Our debt is 122 billion. So our focus on investment without export is not going to solve our problem. In the short to medium term. Long term, yes. But short to medium term. So therefore, we have to bring that in. And I quote Atif Mia, one of the lead economists in the world, that the money that we are spending in Pakistan, if it is not getting into areas where we can generate dollars to pay for the import that is imperative because of our growth pattern, then it's not going to be good enough. So therefore, investment in the export development areas is, Khizar Bhai, this is especially, and I hope that we will be coming with a proposal to you. And ladies and gentlemen, what does Pakistan not offer you? Kabhi soche. 1200 kilometers of coastline, the best jhinga in the world, the greatest yellowfin tuna fish, 4 seasons, fertile land. You said still the largest man-made irrigation system, young population, minerals, oil, gas, copper, gold, tourism through 5,000 years of history, Indus civilization, Sindh. शर्म नहीं आती हमको, माजरत के साथ मैं कह रहा हूँ, शर्म नहीं आती कि हम कहाँ हैं? इन रिसोर्सेज को हम प्रोजेक्ट करें इस स्ट्रेंथ के साथ. Sir, nobody is to be blamed.
No, I think everybody is to be blamed.
Well, maybe. But the point that I make is, yeah.
Please discourage across dialogue. Thank you so much.
डिस्कशन नहीं कर सकते। और थोड़ा सा मैं आपको बता दूं, सन 2000 में हमारी एक्सपोर्ट कितनी थी? 7.8 बिलियन। सन 2008 में कितनी थी? 147% इंक्रीज टू 19.5 बिलियन। किसने किया? हमारे लोगों ने किया, हमारी प्राइवेट सेक्टर ने किया, हमारी गवर्नमेंट ने किया। सो इट्स पॉसिबल। सो माई ओनली सजेशन इकराम भाई इज कि हमारे जो पोटेंशियल है उसकी रियलिस्टिक टेंजिबल ways of being able to generate foreign exchange is what we would like. And thank you for allowing me to intrude. I apologize for having taken away the time which you saved by sticking to time. Thank you very much.
क्योंकि डावोस की बात हो रही है, क्योंकि इस इनिशिएटिव की बात हो रही है, और जो बात अभी इकराम सहगल साहब ने भी तो अभी करेंगे, तारिक सहगल साहब ने बात की। हम पाकिस्तान पवेलियन में तो जाते हैं, पाकिस्तान ब्रेकफास्ट के लिए जाते हैं, बट इट अलाउज अस टू गेट एन इंटरफेस ऑफ व्हाट अदर कंट्रीज आर डूइंग। तो अगर आप इंडोनेशियन इवनिंग्स में जाएं और दूसरी, द काइंड ऑफ मनी दे स्पेंड टू प्रोजेक्ट देयर कंट्रीज देयर इज unbelievable. Those lounges are free to enter, they're government sponsored, there are cultural programs, cultural troupes, there's cuisine, and you know, a country like Indonesia, Islamic country, Muslim country, the way they project nightlife in Indonesia, you'll be amazed. So the pitch is to engage, invite, open it up Indonesia, and I think that is something we all need to do here. All of us need to pitch in, and somebody just asked who is to be blamed. All of us are to be blamed, because I tell you, I've worked with Mr. Ikram Sehgal, and I've been a part of this journey when this became a triangular relationship between KCFR, Pathfinder Group and the Sindh Investment Board, and the kind of resistance we faced from within. It was like we had some selfish ends to serve. There were personal gains to be made. And within the board, within the three organizations, there were people who were calling out names. And I've seen it personally. I don't even know if Ikram Sehgal is happy about me talking about this here. But that is the truth of the matter. You want to know who's to be blamed? We are to be blamed, because we doubt every good initiative that is taken. And I'm going to stop here. I have to invite Mr. Sadiq Malik. He's been our go-to person for years at KCFR. A very eminent person, now also politically motivated, has been to Davos, and I'm sure has something sweet to share with us.
Mr. Ikram Sehgal, Veteran-in-Chief KCFR and Pathfinder Group, Madam Chairperson, Secretary Investment, Assalamu alaikum again. Actually, after I have listened to all those comprehensive addresses, there's hardly anything left for the last speaker usually, but you will see what I have to say, slightly different than the other speakers so far. World Economic Forum at Davos has been there for long, and you have heard about its history. Before I go into my impressions of my visit to Davos in 2023 to attend World Economic Forum, I may go through very briefly its history, and which is known to most of you, and that is how I developed a desire to visit Davos to attend the World Economic Forum. Its brief history is, the World Economic Forum was founded in 1971 by Klaus Schwab, a businessman professor at the University of Geneva, after his travel to Italy. It was first named the European Management Forum, and its name was changed to World Economic Forum in 1987, and sought to broaden its vision to include providing a platform for resolving international conflicts. The forum's founder was a German-born engineer, economist, and professor with double doctorates, a master's degree in public administration from Harvard, and business experience in Germany and Switzerland. The founder invited a group of European business leaders and met them in the ski town of Davos, Switzerland, to consider the major global issues of the day and to brainstorm on solutions to address these challenges. Since that time, the World Economic Forum has grown to occupy a global platform. The basic theme behind World Economic Forum, as considered by Klaus Schwab and his team, had purposed, as has been explained by the group of Nobel laureates this year, that is, Dr. Darren Echemoglu, a Turkish American, Dr. Simon Johnson, a British American, and Dr. James Robinson, who were awarded the 2024 Bank of Sweden Jury Prize in honor of Alfred Nobel, known as the Nobel Prize in Economics, for their own answer to this question that we are discussing today. 23 years ago, in an article that became one of the most cited studies in economics, called The Colonial Origins of Comparative Development in the American Economics Review, number 91 of 2001. This review describes prosperity in the Committee of Nations through their impressions. These impressions convey exclusivity and inclusivity, as considered by Klaus Schwab while forming European Management Forum in 1971. The basic theme continues that after European Management Forum was founded in 1971, a meeting of EMF was held in 1972 in January, when minimum of tourists visited Switzerland, and in 1973 the basic Davos Manifesto was created and renewed in 2020. Mr. Ikram Sehgal, I would like to tell you, was part of it since that time. After its inception, the EMF meetings have been held in Davos annually. The meetings in Davos embody an attitude of openness, cooperation, encapsulated in the Davos Manifesto, as explained earlier in 1973 and re-modified in 2020. Principally, the manifesto outlines the principles of stakeholders through capitalism in line with UN Sustainable Development Agenda. I was in France in 1985-86 when Davos resonated in the media over there. I was doing my war course while in the Navy at Paris. While passing through the Alps during the summer holidays, I entered France from Switzerland, where there was just a line on the road. There were no border checkposts. Now I am told there are checkposts on both the sides. I then on had developed a desire to participate in World Economic Forum's meetings. And then I joined, after my retirement, KCFR, Karachi Council on Foreign Relations. Late Justice Sayyiduzzaman Siddiqui, who became the president of Defense Authority organization, and after me, and he brought me over into KCFR, and then on we had nothing. I was made a member board of the governors, and then on I've been on its board. The year before I visited Davos, our veteran-in-chief, Mr. Ikram Sehgal, had invited the PMs. You have already seen it, all of them, one after the other. The CM, chief ministers, and many other dignitaries on a number of years, which gets a lot of press coverage as Pakistan Breakfast, hosted and paid for by the Pathfinder Group. Thank you, sir, for continuing to fly Pakistan flag internationally at Davos. I wanted to, in 2023, I wanted to take my wife with me for this participation, but she said the weather would be too cold, and she did not. As I landed in Zurich, I bought my railway ticket for 2 weeks in first class because that was the only comfortable way, which was very comfortable indeed, and went straight to Hamburg in Germany for a few days in a train, the Grand Vitesse, that's the high-speed train, and it moved at 280 kilometers. On my return, after 3 days, I reached the airport where the then chairman and now patron-in-chief, my senior at PMA for about 57 years ago, was there to receive his family. His family went into 2 other SUVs, while on the third SUV, a driver, a Turkish person, drove me with the patron-in-chief to Davos. You would recall, sir. The road to Davos is, as in Switzerland, a beautiful road, and we passed by a lake which is smaller in size than the Lake Geneva, but beautiful with hills on its sides. We landed in a village near Davos, and I was lodged in a hotel. We were picked up by luxury coach paid for by our patron-in-chief all 4 days in the morning and returned on the same bus on all days. You would recall Dr. Huma Bakai. We were together in that. On the first day, on arrival in Davos, we were taken for registration and ID cards which were issued to us. Then comes to National Pavilion, which has been talked a lot. I participated in Pakistan, had no official pavilion, only representation was through our patron-in-chief's representation in a hotel, a room where our patron-in-chief and his family were lodged, staying in Davos, and that was marked as Pakistan Pavilion. Participation in other countries in Davos. During my visit, I noticed that the largest pavilion was from India. This has just been mentioned by a speaker before me. And then a few Indian states, like Maharashtra and a few other states, provinces from India also had their pavilions. I had thought at that time that we should have a pavilion of Sindh in Davos in the years to come, and hopefully we'll have it this time. Some prime ministers, head of the governments, and some head of the states were present there to participate. In 2023, Bilawal and Mrs. Sherry Rahman participated from Pakistan. At Pakistan breakfast, the hotel was packed where Pakistan breakfast was served, totally paid for by Mr. Ikram Sehgal, and KCFR name was printed at no cost. But it was not only at the breakfast. Then we went, and another lunch was served in a hotel at a mountain top, to where a train had taken us atop the area around the hall where a high-class lunch was served, hosted by, again, Mr. Ikram Sehgal. Finally, yet another lunch in the name of KCFR. KCFR was written behind us on the wardrobe at no cost. Just because we had our then chairman and now patron-in-chief representing us over there. On these occasions, I, as Secretary General KCFR, had welcomed the guests on behalf of KCFR. List of international participants. The list is lengthy. Very many, as indicated earlier. However, if we log on Google, we would see the participants. If you go through this slide, I don't know if he's got. Post participation. Pathfinder Group was programmed to visit Austria, Hungary, and Italy after the World Economic Forum. at Davos, I opted to escort them. And of course, my railway ticket became very handy. I had visited these countries in the past, except Hungary. A call on His Excellency Ambassador of Pakistan in Hungary was arranged by our then chairman, Mr. Ikram Sehgal, who had returned to Pakistan because of his health reasons. Embassy's car came to pick up, and I represented him, and the KCFR for this call. My recommendations, these recommendations are not for Pathfinder Group. These are for KCFR and Investment Department. I shared my impressions of my visit. This is my last slide visit, which would have aroused interest by the audience here today to visiting this forum, whereby we could contribute to Pakistan. Therefore, my first recommendation is plan for the visit well in time. Locate international investors whose list can be had from the Swiss Embassy and of course from KCFR too. Arrange meetings with international investors well in advance, otherwise it would remain a skylark only. Recommended participants would be CEOs, chairmen and MDs from the industry. As far investment department is concerned, they may liaise as in the agreement with the Pathfinder Group and KCFR. But first, work on locating and liaising with the important investors from the world over. Investment department should liaise through the embassies in advance for some more questions. If there were any questions on 2023, I am available, but if there are none, it appears so. So thank you very much.
थैंक यू सदीद मलिक साहब. आपको सदीद मलिक साहब ने वर्चुअल टूर करा दिया डावोस का कि क्या क्या आपने करना है और फिर all that is awaiting you. It's an experience in itself. I must acknowledge that. And with that, the man himself, Mr. Ikram Sehgal.
Bismillah Rahman Rahim. Nadra Panjwani, Umar Bakai, Farhat Ali, Khazar, Tariq Ikram, investment board people, and of course Sadiq Malik. I thank you all for the kind words that you said for Pathfinder Group. It is true that we have had a long journey, and I will start with something personal. This long journey every year cost the company a lot of money and me. And one of the people who, let us say, because of that, they suffered a little bit from it was my own family, starting with my wife and my son and my daughters, from whom I had to divert money, which rightfully they had to. And so I thank Shanaz is here, I thank her and the family for bearing with me during this time, and being patient, because I think they realized that I had a bigger objective in mind with the country, and they persevered and were patient with me. So thank you again, Shanaz, and all the family. This journey was only possible for many reasons, but starting with, I became a member by accident, total. And it's a long story, I don't want to repeat it. But having become a member, after a few years, the overwhelming Indian presence and the non-existence of Pakistan, despite the fact there were some very big business leaders, members, but, and I used to ask them, I said, let's get together and contribute something. They said, oh, we cannot hope to meet with India and sort of confront India on the scale. So finally I decided, I said, the same thing I did when I was in the prisoner of war camp. And I realized that the others were not going to escape along with me. So I went into solitary confinement from where I escaped. I said I had to go into solitary. So I did solitary and said, but I need to have somebody important. One of my best friends was General Ali Kuli, but another good friend was General Musharraf. And I used to be, he in the Special Service Group, he used to be head of the Pathfinder team. And this Pathfinder team used to go and lay the drop zone behind enemy lines, or that thing for parachutists to come in, or drop people or pick them up. And he was the head of the Pathfinder team. We were 4 or 5 of us at that thing. I was the pilot of that Pathfinder team. So he used to sit behind me, 3 of us, and sit behind me, and he could not talk so much. So the main thing used to be his hand and all that. So once, I'm saying this story because I just wanted to understand the context of it. So once at night we dropped in a hill, and and when the team used to come back, I used to be under control. The General Musharraf would pat me twice so that, okay, you can take off. So somebody patted me twice, I took off. I left him behind. So everybody started hitting me on the head. So I circled back and I picked him up. He was there saying, what have you done? Anyway, we picked him up back. So I went to him and I said, sir, I want to take you to Davos. He says, what's Davos? I said, sir, I explained to him that this is good for Pakistan. He said, यार मुझे वहाँ छोड़ना आना किसी माउंटेन टॉप पर. मैं बोला आप चलो ना सर, आप चलो तो. So he came very reluctantly, and 2004, and that was the start of the process. He came 3 times thereafter. Well, Shaukat Aziz, then him, then Shaukat Aziz, him, then he came 3 times, Shaukat Aziz came twice. That set off. And I said, to me, Davos is apolitical. Here we are all Pakistanis, irrespective. We are not PML or PTI or PPP or, we are all Pakistanis, right? And I give you 2 instances of it. And Bilawal was not the foreign minister at that time. He went to Davos, but he was the thing, etc. And in the breakfast, Imran was sitting, and Imran was the stage, and Davos was in the front row, and they got up and shook hands. And Imran recognized him and said that, he is one of the sons of a person I respect very much, late Benazir Bhutto, right? And, everybody gave him a hand. The same thing Hakan Abbasi had also done earlier, and the thing. So there, and I jump ahead to when there was a lot of disturbance. Imran had been removed and from Prime Minister, and Bilawal, not the Foreign Minister, is sitting on stage. And my son was a little busy, he was now the host, and he turned to Bilawal and said that, would you mind my requesting you not to say anything about domestic politics because, we are here in Pakistan. He said, don't worry. In fact, he actually defended Imran for his visit to Russia. When somebody asked him a question, he defended Imran. So what I'm trying to say is, in Davos, it is Pakistan. There's no politics. There's no divisions. We're all there as together. Now, KCFR, again, I became by accident the chairman because Shahid Karimullah, our esteemed chairperson, became sick, and for other reasons he resigned. And actually we were in a holy mess. And I must give credit to Commodore Sadid Malik. Actually, it's all very well to be carrying the ball and all, but the hard work, the absolute thing was done by Commodore Sadid Malik. And our association went back, it now goes back almost 59 years, when we were cadets at PMA together. And I was in the Army cadet, he was a naval cadet, he came after me. And, that association remained. that small association of few months remained, and it remains till today, and he's one of my cherished friends. But what I'm trying to say about KCFR was that we stabilized KCFR. We went through a lot of problems, but the Board of Governors was excellent. They supported us, stabilized KCFR. And then, of course, we had the good fortune of getting Nadra Panjwani. And she has really taken KCFR beyond compare. And really, I must say this, that, now KCFR is an entity that I would say that 6-7 years ago we were very afraid whether it would survive or not. Now to Davos. It's very necessary for private businessmen and for government to be at Davos in partnership together. We can only, Pathfinder Group can only play a platform. My son already, as you can see, had taken over many years ago, and I'm sure he will continue this story and make sure that Pathfinder Group remains front and center of providing that platform. But we require the support of Pakistani businessmen, more than government. We don't need government. We need, let's say, the logistic support that government can give us in that thing, etc., with other governments. But we need the private sector to come in and that thing. I must also tell you that I deliberately had that last scene played, Dil Dil Pakistan. But that was mostly the employees, the executives of Pathfinder Group. And one of the great things was when somebody from the World Economic Forum came to me and said, "Today I have seen something which I thought I would never see in my life." I said, "What was it?" He said, "I saw two of your CEOs, chief executive officers, putting up the banners with their hands. Another CEO at the camera, right, and other people around." So that was, for me, a great thing, because that was all a Pakistan show. It was to show what Pakistan is capable of. I am very proud to be let's see, I've handed over to my son, but be part of a group of young people who have really, really established Pakistan. You've heard World Economic Forum talk about the Asan mobile account. You will not hear Pakistanis talk about it. But the fact is 11.3 million accounts. You cannot imagine the same thing the group did for the security guard in this country. They took his level up, gave him a proper salary, gave him proper price, gave him security, etc., SMS and Wackenhut. The same thing Virtual Remittance Gateway and iPath have done together. And they have established that thing. In a few days, you will see that for the common man, for the poor person, people do not know that 80% of Pakistan's population, adult population, is without bank accounts. Now 70%, because 11.3 million of them now have bank accounts because of Asan mobile account. So the Asan mobile account allows a person that we are working with the State Bank, inshallah, will next at least 3 weeks or a month or so, we will have that a person who is even without a feature phone on USSD, without a smart telephone, he'll be able, he's already getting transactions. We can get in money from Habib Bank, and he can go and cash it at any kiosk of Jazz, Telenor, UBL, any bank, any branch. That's agent interoperability. And again, similarly, that they can, they've got, in fact, the name is Paylight, but
The virtual card, you don't even have to have a physical card. The virtual card with the telephone, that poor person can go and order McDonald's on a virtual card. Right? So the poor person is important for him. You can talk about roti kapda. Roti or kapda you can get for cash. For a poor person, he cannot get a house, even a low-cost house, without a bank account. So this is the way the person is getting a bank account. Even anybody can get a bank account. And by the way, he doesn't have to go to any bank branch, fill in forms in less than 2 minutes on his telephone. May I just say to you that the World Economic Forum is projecting this as the only many-to-many thing for the underprivileged in the world. I called it poor man's debit card. They said, no, don't say that. You can call it a deprived person's credit card, but that was too long. But the point is, that is what came to me. And that Davos, what I'm trying to say, Davos has given us that platform. That platform will take us to 42 Islamic countries underdeveloped like us, where people don't have bank accounts, and to other countries, right? Now Visa is clamoring with us to engage with us, etc., etc. But it happened because we took the first step to Davos. And it can happen to a lot of investors here in your own field, whether it's textiles, whether it's services, whether it's IT, whether it's anything, the world opportunity. I saw India growing like this because of Davos. In the end, I just want to thank KCFR again and the Sindh Investment Department for being allied with us. And to say that everybody here, Pakistani, as a Pakistani, not as a member of any political party or bureaucracy or army or whatever, you have to pull for Pakistan. You have to pull for Pakistan. The only way you can do it is in the small way possible, whatever you can do. I just want to, just one thing with Hakan Abbasi, when Huma talked about Hakan Abbasi saying something, Hakan Abbasi actually he said something very naturally in Urdu. He said, somebody got up and said, "Aap inko paise nahi dena chahiye government ki taraf se." Bole ye jo ho raha hai, ye bhi khatam ho jayese. Right. So my point is that that also I think is the thing. We need the support of the government also, not financial. But we need the moral support and the logistic support which they can only give. In the end, let me again thank you, Nadra and Huma, right? And Huma, you've always been a constant partner for us, not only in KCFR, but for Davos. And obviously, inshallah, we're going this time, and this time we are taking an education group also, inshallah, like we're saying. So the three sectors that are very important for the fourth industrial revolution, financial inclusion and women empowerment, health, education, and artificial intelligence, which, by the way, we are being drawn into because of World Economic Forum. And of course, education, we are taking this time a group from education. So thank you everybody for being here on a Sunday morning.